They like trap music, but that's not me. They like pop music, but that's not me. I'm the baby face that will put you in your place, set you up, take it safe, then vanish without a trace. They like Balenciaga, but that's not me. They like Dolce Gabbana, but that's not me. I'm the baby face that will put you in your place, take your girl to your face.
The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros, the comments made by Billy Joe Saunders. And basically he said he will use his brain to beat Canelo Alvarez, or Saul, as Eddie Hearn calls him. So here you see Saunders told White and Jordan on Talk Sport, I'm the 7th Brit he's faced. He's dealt with 6 of them very comfortably. The Brits like dancing and moving and thinking they've got to run away. But I think I'll be there for him to hit. I will be in range for him to hit. I'll be setting traps, the same as he'll be setting traps. I don't think running a million miles an hour is going to do me any justice. He's not got the best engine in the world, Canelo. He's very good at what he does, extremely good at what he does, but there's faults there. We've seen people try to run away and box him. We've seen people try to use the brawn. But we've only seen one man use his brain, and that was Floyd Mayweather. Brain over brawn here. Brains wins this. Technical thinking wins this. And so basically, what he's saying is he's going to use the Mayweather blueprint. He's going to be in the pocket and use his brain to outpoint Canelo Alvarez. I'm going to start one off with Slippery G, the man who's been very critical of Billy Joe Saunders and doesn't even think he's going to show up to the fight. What are your thoughts on those comments, G?
I actually like the comments. My issue is that's a major risk. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if he could execute that strategy with a Canelo. And Canelo isn't the same Canelo when he fought Mayweather. And Canelo, the combinations that he throw are pretty fast. Me personally, I understand. I get his criticism of boxers moving around against Canelo because
this wasn't boxers. He was criticizing other Brits.
British boxers. I get it. But honestly, I don't blame them for that strategy either with a Canelo. You know, Canelo's not necessarily flat-footed, but Canelo constantly has to chase after boxers. And that's a safer bet for boxers. Billy Joe is a boxer. He's not necessarily like a strategician like a Mayweather. You know, like Mayweather is a boxer, but he's like a different level. There's like degrees to boxing. I don't know if Billy Joe could activate that level. And so it may be really, really dangerous for him. But I like what he's talking because that tells me that he's actually confident going into this fight. But what happens when you catch a body shot from Canelo? You know what I mean? Are you going to resort back to like, survival mode and pulling a Lara in that ring? You know what I'm saying? So it's easy to say like, these dudes are all running. But what happens when Canelo's in front of you?
All right, Dollar Bill.
I'm with you, G. I like everything that he said.
Mm-hmm.
I like everything he said. Saying it is one thing. Now, doing it in the ring is another. You're comparing yourself to Floyd Mayweather, and Floyd Mayweather has been prepared to fight a Canelo. Canelo, since that loss to Floyd, he's been in there with guys, other slick boxers, to prepare him to be in there with a Billy Joe Saunders. I don't think there's been anybody that Billy Joe Saunders has been in there with that can compare to a Canelo Alvarez in any form. And I know styles made fights and fighters is different, but I think to implement that, the game plan that he's trying to do against the pound for pound best fighter in the sport right now is easier said than done. You know, I think that Billy Joe Saunders is a talented fighter, you know, but and I'm glad that he's believing in himself. It's just a whole nother level. Canelo's just a whole nother level now than where you. If you're banking on him to be what he was when he fought Floyd, then you putting your money in the wrong bank. You know what I'm saying? Because he's a different fighter. Canelo gets better. He's still getting better, even though he destroyed the guy that he was in there with. You still seeing, you still seeing new things from Canelo. Canelo's still working, even though he was still trying new things. And I don't think it's just gonna be that easy. But kudos to Billy Joe Saunders. I like the talk. I know that he's going in there focused and he's really thinking, because you really gonna have to use your head. He's gonna have to use his head because and you're gonna have to be perfect for 12 rounds. Canelo is not the old Canelo that used to fade. This is a different Canelo. He went 12 rounds with Callum, looked fresh. He's been looking ever since he stood up all 12 rounds against Chavez. I haven't seen him fade. So I don't know. Billy Joe Saunders though, but kudos to you. It sounds like you're not going in there to lay down. You're gonna go in there and think and come up with a good plan to try to win. So salute to you. You know, you got to be perfect for 12 rounds though.
All right, Ned.
I'm gonna use my brain to do this math test. I'm gonna use my brain when I wake up in the morning. I'm gonna use my brain. It's the key to life. That's a point blank. Everybody uses their brain in any solution, any scenario. So Billy Joe,
almost any scenario, but
almost any scenario. So Billy Joe, using your brain is the key to fighting. What were you going to use before that? Your hands, your legs, your back. If you was to use your back, let me tell you something. You're gonna get your brains blown out. Your brains blown out. Point blank. Period. So Billy Joe, I appreciate you coming to the meeting saying I'm gonna use my brains. Duh, that's what you need to do. But
I just, like it's like a thing in boxing. Like you know how like he's saying that he's gonna fight with his brain instead of some people say they fight with their heart.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, that's what you say.
You gotta have a heart to step in the ring.
You gotta have a heart to step in the ring.
Everybody's heart pumps blood.
Everybody, yes.
If heart wasn't pumping blood, you'd be dead.
Especially taller fighters, their blood pump harder. You know what I'm saying?
It's a fighting analogy.
I'm just saying.
So
I'm just saying, just a fighting analogy.
Same fighter that his brain said, "This is how you got to knock out your wife." So I'm not really too sure.
All right, please. So it's my turn. Right. Thank you. You already had your turn. And anybody mad that I did that, just change the video. So, anyways, right? Using your brains and expression. Like you look at Deontay Wilder, he knows he's all power. So he says they got to be perfect, for 36 minutes. I only got to be perfect for 2 seconds. What he's highlighting is the fact that all he needs is one punch to end the fight. Everybody else has to be perfect and have to use their intellect and their ability to evade him for the entire fight is the statement. It's just, he's not saying like, you don't use your brain for everything. What he's saying is he's going to use his boxing IQ over physical attributes to beat Canelo Alvarez is what he meant. Now, diving into the statement, diving into the statement, I feel like kudos to him. They say if you never failed, then your dreams aren't big enough. If you were always successful in life and your dreams weren't big enough. Failing means you challenge yourself at some point, and so he's taking on this challenge where everybody's saying this guy's unbeatable, although he has lost before to Floyd Mayweather. But as Trill pointed out, he's a different fighter. You can't look at what happened to Canelo in the Floyd fight, You can't look at Canelo and the Cotto fight, the Trout fight, the Laura fight, and say, well, I'm going to implement those things. And the example I will give Billy Joe Saunders is he's talking about how everyone's trying to move and Canelo's chopping them down and still beating them. Well, those people watched the Laura fight, you know, and I gave it to Laura by 1 point. I will admit that. But you can't beat Canelo that way anymore. You can't run away from Canelo and think you're going to win because it's not happening, right? So where I will commend Billy Joe Saunders is he has a vision. What it tells me is he thinks he could implement the style that Floyd implemented to beat Canelo. And so that tells me he believes in his boxing skills. Well, once again, who am I to tell him not to believe in himself? I can't tell him that because I could tell him that and be dead wrong. History is filled with people. Every successful person you know was told by someone next to them that they couldn't do it. Every successful person you know had doubters, naysayers, and people telling them that they didn't have what it takes or what it took to be who they are. So Billy Joe Saunders very well may have what it takes to go in there on that night and pull off a masterclass like that. Most recently, Anthony Joshua was robotic, wasn't known for having the movement, was known for having the stiff body, and no one could envision him outboxing Andy Ruiz the way he did for 12 rounds until he did it. So if Billy Joe Saunders believes in his heart of hearts that he can stay in the pocket, evade Canelo, and land his shots, prove it. I'm not mad at him for believing in himself. I think every great fighter sees a path to victory. And your path to victory, people may laugh at it. I remember when Tyson Fury said, I'm going in the ring, I'm going right at Deontay Wilder. Everyone said it was a mistake. People was laughing at him. People say, you out your mind. And what did Fury do? When the bell rung, he went right at Deontay Wilder and effing won. So it may not be the best thing in your mind right now. You may not envision it. But there's only one person who needs to envision it and implement it, and it's Billy Joe Saunders. Listen, it sounds good right now. You got to do it. If you do it, though, you'll be a legend.
Here. Please like and subscribe. Let us know how you feel in the comment section. And please check us out on Instagram and Twitter and check out our podcast on all major streaming services. We are the Boxing Bros.
You're welcome. You're all welcome.